Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me again today. We're going to be looking at the science behind greenhouses, whether or not you should leave the doors open, and whether or not the yield is different depending on the outside temperature. Stick around to the end to see the absolute mess I make of things, but till then, let's get farming. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video I am going to do a little bit of science, some experimentation. In my last tutorial video covering greenhouses, I was intrigued as to which of the crops yields the best and whether or not also the seasons make a difference. So if it's hotter or colder, will that affect the yield? Now my assumption is yes, because Giants have done a great job on this particular version of the game and there's so much more realism here that I would be amazed if this wasn't the case. But I want hard facts. So if you've not seen my previous video on greenhouses, check out the link in the top corner. But for now, let's start the experiment. So to kick things off, let's go and have a look at the weather. We're currently in June. It's 12 degrees, it's early in the morning, but it is only going to get warmer. So by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're looking at 31 degrees, which is perfect. I want the first part of this experiment to be in nice warm weather, really get those crops growing as best as they can. I've got this plot of land in front of me. I've just dropped down some grass on this field. Hence you can see the pebbles in front of me. Sadly, I can't seem to get rid of those. So even if I run over them with a stone picker, now that I've painted that with grass, it won't affect it at all. A little bit frustrating. But anyway, that's by the by. Let's jump into the construction menu and we'll go and plop down some greenhouses. I'm going to go for... Let's just keep this simple and go medium. I don't really want to go large. I think small's too small. Let's go medium and let's not worry too much. There we go. We want the water butts at the front. Going to plot one there, and one there. Great. I think that's absolutely perfect. Okie dokie, so we've got 3 medium-sized greenhouses all ready to rock and roll. I'm going to go and ensure the water butts are full. I want everything to be set and ready to go. Then I'll skip forward the time to around probably 1 PM, maybe 2 PM, and then we'll get the crops in the ground. And hopefully we'll get things kicked off at roughly the same time for all 3 greenhouses, and then we'll see which yields the quickest. And then part 2 of the experiment, as I say, we're going to do exactly the same thing in much colder weather and we'll see how things are affected. Right, let's go grab my tractor. Still got my little electric vehicle here, which I think is absolutely fantastic just for buzzing around the farm. I've already filled up the Bowser, so I'm just going to run right across the front of the water butts here at the front of the greenhouses and just fill those up. I may have to do a couple of trips here. We'll just fill this one up and then I'll head on to the second greenhouse. That one's done. And I believe actually I'm empty. So I'll do this off camera. I shall fill these up and then you can see me back here very shortly. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I had to go shopping off camera. The small Bowser, which I have on my small electric tractor, just cannot cut it, and it's quite frankly getting on my nerves. So I've just purchased this absolute behemoth of a tanker with a dolly as well, and that is under the animals section, and right across here it's the MKS 32,000 litres. So I think that will do it. This small Bowser doesn't even fill up the medium-sized water butts on the greenhouses by 70%. I think it's 72%. So rather than going backwards and forwards, I'm just going to get this absolute ginormous tank and use that. So bear with me. I'll be back with you very shortly. Right, we are done. I am just going to double check by going into the menu. Here we go. So yeah, those are looking good. That's got full water, but the third one hasn't. Okay, so that's filling up now. There we go. 10,000, 10,000. Right, so we now have a lovely set of full greenhouses hidden behind my juggernaut of a tanker. I am going to put strawberries and then tomatoes and then lettuce in the third greenhouse. And yeah, I think that will be the start of the experiment. So we'll time this and we'll see just how long it takes. I'll bring the time up on the screen, but first I'm just going to jump forward to about 1 PM in the afternoon just to get this experiment underway. Off camera, I've decided to extend this experiment, and actually I've added another row behind the row in front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grow the exact same crops front and back, but I'm going to leave the doors and windows open on the rear set. I honestly don't believe this is going to make any difference, but for the purposes of being very thorough, let's see what happens. We have all 6 greenhouses full of water, all got 10,000 litres. So we are ready to commence. Now, I am not entirely sure at the order that I place these down, so I'm reluctant to go and activate things in here. So I'm going to do it manually. The first thing I'm going to do is just whiz around and open the doors. And then on the greenhouses at the back, I'll open both the front and back doors and the sides. Now, obviously, realistically, the cooler greenhouses should produce a lower yield, but I suspect, even in real life, it's probably only marginal. And you can certainly have greenhouses that are too hot. Glass houses, properly, is what we should be calling them. We are ready. It is 12 o'clock midday. I've set the time right down so I can get these in with little effect on the time. We are going to have to go like Usain Bolt here. Let's get going. So we're going to jump in. We're going to put on tomatoes. And on the next one, we were going to put on strawberries. It doesn't really matter as long as I keep them the same. And on the next one, we want lettuce. So tomatoes, strawberries, lettuce. It's still 12 o'clock. Okay, so tomatoes. Wrong door. Strawberries. No. And finally, lettuce. Well done. Oh, that's an unbelievable time. So, we're looking good. Let's just double check these. Okay, yeah, we've got the strawberries in and we've got the lettuce. So let's quickly go and close these doors. It's still 12 o'clock. Oh, the world of a scientist. Okay, there we are. We are ready and the experiment is underway. So I'm going to jump time forward to, let me think, 30. Let's give 30 a go. And we'll elevate the camera and just see how we get on. Okay, we're in position. We can keep an eye on everything and see which comes out first. I really do hope that the doors and having the doors closed makes a difference. That would be fantastic in terms of realism. But I honestly don't think it will. I don't know that that's something that's been included in the game. I've certainly not read it anywhere unless I've completely missed it. But I'm sure we're going to find out. I'm going to speed up time just to max here. I just don't know how long this will take. And there we go. So that is strawberries, and actually exactly the same time behind we saw the strawberries appear for the greenhouse with the doors open. So early stages indicate that actually it doesn't make a difference, and I think there's the proof, ladies and gentlemen. The tomatoes for both the front and rear greenhouses made no difference. They appeared at exactly the same time. So all eyes on that right hand column of greenhouses for the lettuce. I actually suspect we'll get more strawberries before we get any lettuce. So that was approximately 2 hours 20 minutes. I didn't look at the clock at the time. I was too busy looking. There we go. There's a second strawberry. Strawberries here, running strong. I wonder if we'll get another tomato before we get any lettuce. I'm going to go quiet now, and I'm just going to keep my mouth shut, and we will see how quickly all 4 spaces can get filled. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. That was 17:26 or 5:26 for you common folk. Yeah, and so the strawberries are done in 5 hours and 26 minutes. And we haven't had so much of a peep out of the lettuce, although I've just suddenly seen the lettuce at the front suddenly jump up in size. So this could be exciting. I'm just going to keep the camera where it is for now to see how long it takes for the tomatoes to finish, and then we'll jump down and focus on the lettuce. Come on, lettuce. And there we go. At the same time there, approximately 12 minutes, I think it was, past 7, the tomatoes completed, and we also received our first set of cabbages. So we will just whiz through the next bit of footage through the night. The second batch of lettuces arrived at about 2:18 in the morning, followed by the third, which arrived at 9:24, and then finally we have all 4, and these eventually turned up at 4:32 in the afternoon. So I'm just going to start clearing everything up and get ready for the same experiment which we're going to run in the winter. I think we're going to aim for January. So let me just tidy things up, reset all of the greenhouses, and then we'll be locked and ready to go. Goodness me, I am having an absolute nightmare with these strawberries. They are just respawning. So in my previous tutorial video, I mentioned that if you have fruit and veg and you don't remove them from the bays, they seem to buffer. And there we go. There's a whole load more that have just appeared out of nowhere. So I'm just trying to get these damn things on the back of the wagon willy-nilly. I've all kind of order and stacking has gone completely out the window. I'm just going to go and do this off camera because, yeah, I'm making a real hash of this, and who knows quite how long it's going to take. However, I'm interested to see what's actually stored, what's buffered in the background. Okay, I'll come back to you very shortly. Let me deal with this complete chaos. Okay, let me just put this last one on. Oh, that is some top stacking. And just slide that in there. Oh, 1 second. Just pop this on top. Welcome to Farming Jenga 22. I got completely fed up using that small trailer that you can see behind, so I went and bought myself a Mac. Big Mac with trailer. Let's have a count up. So tomatoes, we've got stacks of 4 that side, 4 that side, 4, 8, 16. So we've got 32 pallets of tomatoes, and I've already counted up the strawberries, which came in at 7 stacks of 3, 21. 21 against 32. Well, I hope you've got your bobble hats and gloves on, because it is a chilly day in February. It's -5. Let's jump in and have a look. -5. It's going to warm up to no more than about 3, maybe 4 degrees. Oh, and we've got some snow coming. We are ready to start the second part of our experiment. Water is in every single one of these greenhouses. I've demolished the previous lot. If you stick around to the end, I'll explain why. This is a whole new set of greenhouses, all watered, and we are ready to go. I'm going to jump around, open these doors again, and then we can get straight on with our experiment. Everything is open. We're all ready to go. I'm going to jump down and start in this bottom left corner, and we'll start to seed everything and get this experiment underway. But first, I'm just going to jump the time forward to 12 PM just to match the summer experiment that we ran earlier. It's 12 PM. Let's get going. Here we go then. Let's go for tomatoes. And then we had strawberries. And then we had lettuce. There we go. And then we'll do the reverse for the back. And we know this doesn't really make much difference. In fact, it doesn't make any difference, let's be honest, when you have the windows open. But for the purposes of science, I feel like we need to do things properly. Okay. Let's close the doors. Close the doors here. Close the doors here. And then we'll get in position and we'll shoot the time up. Okay, we're in position. So I'm going to whack this up to 120. And if there is absolutely no change, as I look across at my board, we should see our first strawberry at 121, thereabouts. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that was pretty much bang on the same time that we saw strawberries arrive in the summer. So, early days, it does seem to be that, there we go, that was 149 approximately. Yes, and on my board I've got 147, so give or take my accuracy of reading the clock, I think we can safely say that the temperature, or the outside temperature, makes absolutely no difference to the yield of these crops. Having the windows open, or the doors rather, makes absolutely no difference. So I will run this through at quick speed now, making a note of each of these, and I shall tally everything up, and then perhaps we'll conclude with the final results of the day. Okay, it's coming up to around 8 minutes, 10 minutes past 7, and that's when we should see our final tomato. There we go. And if we run over, we should find that our first cabbage has also appeared, absolutely proving that outside temperature makes no difference to when these crops are yielding. Well, the results are well and truly in, so let's have a look at them. First of all, let's consider whether or not having your doors open or closed on your greenhouse makes in any way a difference to how quickly your crops grow. And as we can see very quickly, I really don't feel like I need to delve into this. The time to complete a full output zone for strawberries is 5 hours and 20 minutes. For tomatoes, 9 hours and 8 minutes, and lettuce, 28 hours and 32 minutes with the doors closed, and they are identical if the doors are open. Let's have a look now at the difference between outside temperature and growing your crops in a nice warm environment in summer compared to growing those as we did in cold weather in the winter months. And as we can see, for the summer, the results are exactly the same again. I don't even feel I need to read these out. Strawberries, 5 hours and 20 minutes, and the same in the winter. Tomatoes, 9 hours and 8 minutes, and the same in the winter. And lettuce in the summer, 28 hours and 32 minutes, and exactly the same in the winter. So, to conclude, it doesn't make any difference whether your doors on your greenhouses are open, and it doesn't make any difference what time of year you grow your crops in. So that's a good thing to know. We don't need to worry at all. We just keep ploughing on as we have been without any effect from any outside influences. Well, I hope that's been super useful to everyone. It may not be a revelation. You may be seeing this in your own gameplay. If so, great. Leave me a comment. Have I just completely wasted 5 or 6 hours of my life doing some science? And if so, did you enjoy the video? Give me a like, that would be fantastic. If you want to subscribe, there's going to be more of this content. There's going to be some gameplay. And of course, jump over to our survival series where you can meet our friend Dusty. Well, thank you for sticking around to the very end. And as promised, here's a little bonus. So it's really the behind the scenes of what goes on when you've got a video to record with many, many crops popping out of the ground. And so, yeah, look at this lot. Wowee. I'll admit that's absolutely not some of my best work. Although you can see on the trailer I did start to stack things, but with the spawning, it just got so out of hand. In fact, I will take you over to the rear of the trailer shortly, where, as you can see, I just got so fed up that I just bunged that on the back as well. So yes, the one thing to note, and here's a little bonus, when you start to create this many objects, the frame rate really does start to suffer. Let me just bring up my interface. There we go, it's really chugging. I'm hoping that's coming through on the video. Let me just close my mini map there and I bring up my frames per second. I've got this crate and it's really chugging at 13, 14 frames per second. As soon as I come away from all these objects, then things start to pick up. There we go, and suddenly jump back again. So let me just show you that one more time. So this is definitely something to be aware of when you're playing the game. If you're intending on creating literally mountains of fruit and veg from your greenhouses, you will have to be aware that your FPS is going to suffer big time. I'm only running a RTX 2070 Super, so by no means the most powerful graphics card out there. But yeah, normally I have absolutely no issues, and that's really chugging today. So if you've got the biggest hardware, the best hardware, fantastic. Thumbs up to you lot. If you don't, you may have to tweak things down. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's been an absolute joy. I hope the results are useful, and I am looking forward to seeing you all again very soon. Bye-bye now.